Oh snap! What's going on out there, YouTube? This is SCL0320.
What's up, YouTube? It's Joe Johnson.
Hey, what's going on, YouTube? This is Melvin.
What's your username?
I forgot. Let's just go with Melvin.
If y'all remember Melvin, Melvin did an awesome review with me for the Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
And so for the first time ever, we're gonna have a trifecta. It's gonna be three of us actually doing a review for the movie. Oh my gosh,
The Purge.
It's crazy.
Oh,
yeah, I'm sorry. The Purge 2 Anarchy. So what we're gonna do, y'all, so we can do this the right way, we're gonna have spoilers at the end of this review. So the first half, we're just gonna talk about how the movie was visually, how the acting was, and then we're gonna talk about like how the story was different from the original one. So as far as the look of this one, do y'all feel like the environment was a lot better in this one than it was in the first one? Well, Joe, I'm sorry, Joe was objective because he's never seen the first one, but me and Melvin have.
Well, you gotta tell them that, bro.
You gotta know, man.
Y'all gotta know.
Yeah, they do.
Y'all gotta
All right, what did you think?
well, you said the environment.
Yeah, the environment for this one visually.
Well, there's a lot more going on this one than on the first one.
Yeah.
The first one is pretty much in most of the movies in one setting.
Mm-hmm.
This one you get to see a whole lot more. You kind of get to experience the Purge as if it really happened. You kind of get to see that in this movie.
Yeah.
So definitely a lot more going on than the first one.
Yeah. I mean, even the fact that, I mean, well, if you haven't seen the first one, The Purge is basically taking 12 hours with law. Anything that happens, there's nobody that's going to govern it. There's no police. There's not going to be anybody put in jail. It's complete lawlessness. And so anything is possible because basically what they're saying is that going through the Purge, it allows you to be able to cleanse yourself in the sense that...
Release the beast.
Yeah. And supposedly the crime level is down, unemployment is down, but you find out in this one it's a lot more different. But the environment is so much different because in the first one you had just one family that was just taking place inside of their home. And you're like thinking about like what's happening on the outside. They're looking at the television, but you're like, man, I want to see what's kind of really happening. I mean, not that you're like wanting to see the violence aspect, but you're kind of feeling cheated because you're just really looking at it from their perspective inside their home.
Yep.
And it kind of makes you feel kind of claustrophobic. But this one, you're outside, and it's literally terrifying because you're literally seeing like people's lives being taken and all these different kind of craziness of like, when you see the beginning of the movie, you see like the normal people, but then you see like these same that people in the Purge and how they react and interact, and it's just such a scary kind of weird environment. What was your feeling of the environment, I guess, in the movie, just visually, I guess? Because you had said like visually, when you were looking at it, you were like, man, this is insane.
Yeah, it's intense. It's very intense, man. They had a lot going on, you know. Even in the start of the movie, they start the movie very well, you know, and the anticipation and the build up, because you know Purge is gonna happen at nightfall.
Yeah.
So the anticipation up until those moments, those leading hours, are just like, it's crazy, man. It's like the tension in the air in the city is just wild. Man, I'm so lost for words right now. But I'll say the build up to me was probably the best part because the actual climactic scenes, you know, did the build up justice. So you know, it wasn't a letdown.
Yeah. Pretty much in the beginning of this one, you kind of get to see different characters, and you kind of get to know the characters before the Purge happens. So
yeah.
The first 30 minutes of the movie, 30 minutes, you kind of get to see all the characters living, I guess, going through their daily life routines, and then pretty much they're all trying to get home or trying to get to their safe haven or whatever to deal with the Purge for the next 12 hours. Yeah. So yeah, you kind of get to see both sides of it, like before the preparation and then you get to see the Purge.
Yeah, it doesn't feel campish at all. Like there are certain times where you kind of see like certain nudges with people, but even the people that end up being good, like you're kind of like wondering, like I wonder if they got a crazy side to them.
Yep.
And so to me, like it felt like really realistic most of the time. Like even the violent scenes, these are practical effects that are being used, and so a lot of the action and the kind of the build-up scenes, like kind of Joe alluded to, they were very well done in my opinion. So I say like the environment and just the look of the film, I would have to give it more like maybe a 7.5 or 8. I thought it looked very well. There wasn't that much music in it because most of the time it was those silent touches. Like there was times where it's in the complete dark. There was one scene that we see like towards the end of the movie and it's in complete darkness. And like you don't know what's going to happen, but it's such a build-up that you're like on the edge of your seat.
Yes.
Like what's going to happen? That happens a lot during the movie.
Yeah,
most of the time it's like you're thinking somebody's going to get killed or shot.
Yeah, it's
and I'm
like,
looking like
it's just like complete silence. Like you can pretty much hear yourself thinking at those moments that Sam is talking about.
yeah, it was really well placed. So I mean, definitely for the visual and the look of it, it was a lot better than the first one in my opinion. So the actors, I'm gonna name off some of the actors and then I guess we can talk about them if we want to. And then towards the end of it, we'll just talk about the spoilers and start to talk about the actual storyline. The first actor I'm gonna talk about, his name is Frank Grillo. He's played in Captain America recently. I think he's gonna be in a couple other Marvel movies necessarily, but he plays the Sergeant, who's one of the main characters of this one. The Sergeant is strapped. This dude, in my opinion, right now, he could be Frank Castle or the Punisher because he knows his stuff. And physically, mentally, he is ready. He's not afraid of anything that's out in the Purge, which is crazy because some of the things that we're seeing are unbelievable. But he'll get out of his car, he'll like, all right, it's go time. You know what I'm saying? Other actors would be like Kamen Ejango. She plays Ava. Her daughter's name, I think, is Tanya. That's played by Justina. Zoe Soul plays Callie. All of these are really just no names. The only one that I really recognized was John Beasley, who played the pop or the grandfather. And then another person was Jack Conley, and he plays Big Daddy, or what's going to be a villain that y'all see later on in the movie. But most of these, they were kind of like weeded out, which I like better because I wasn't focusing on one set actor. But as far as their performances, what did y'all think of their performances, I guess, all around as a whole? I mean, probably the main character is probably the central focus of what y'all thought about. But as a whole, what did y'all think about the acting, I guess?
I have nothing negative to say about the acting. I thought the acting was pretty good. Pretty much, I believe the characters when they were going through the whole movie, like all the scary moments and everything. I felt like I was in the movie basically and dealing with the situations that they were going through.
Yeah.
So the acting was pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah. What about you, Joe?
My favorite performance is probably the girl's mom. I forget her name, but for one, she might be my new celebrity crush.
Wow. That's
secondly, when she was scared, there was one scene where like she breaks down, like in fear, and that scene, it was very believable. I literally thought like, wow, she's really scared at this moment. That moment probably to me was the best performance in the movie.
It was really grounded.
It was very grounded. Yeah.
And I mean, she evolved towards the end of it, which we'll talk about in the spoiler, but by the end of the movie, like, she doesn't come out the same. None of these characters really come out the same. Because when you first are introduced to them, you're like, yeah, they're not going to survive.
Yep.
But when they interact with the sergeant, like, things change, you know? And I mean, it's all part of the build-up of the storyline as well, because I think the reason why they're saying anarchy is because there are a certain faction of people that don't like what the Purge is. And it's really kind of planting a seed in the minds of people like, is this okay? Is this really okay for us to have to deal with this and to have to survive it? And because of that, you see the characters evolve in such a way that's like, it's really progressive. Even the main character, like, he evolves to a degree. And you think that I mean, he's good. Like, he's in the best position to survive. But really, he's kind of setting himself up mentally and emotionally. But it's really geared towards like character development in a sense, I guess. And that's probably why they didn't get like an A-list actor to do everything. So I really like the acting in this. I'll probably give the acting maybe a 7. What would y'all give it if y'all had a number from 1 to 10?
I would give it an 8, I would say.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8.
As far as the story is concerned, like we've kind of alluded to with this one, it's really different. It's not like the first one at all. It's take place outside. It's a different cast. And even by the end of it, you feel a lot. I felt better about the ending than I did the first one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Without going and spoiling anything, because so much stuff happens, and there's a lot that happens in the first one inside, but this side, you're trying to survive. You're trying to go around and find a car or talk to a person or think that somebody has your back, and you don't know if they're trying to purge, if they're trying to cleanse themselves of feeling something. And so at any moment, any person you're talking to, including the main characters, could kill each other. And so it's just such a hectic feeling. I think that you had said it the best, that like you felt like you were in the world the whole entire time.
Yep.
And I felt like levels of anxiety towards a certain point of the movie, because I was like, yeah, I felt like the mom. Because, I mean, what you going to do in that situation? Like, how are you going to protect your daughter? You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you happen to find somebody like the sergeant, there's no guarantee that he's even going to try to save your life.
Right.
And so it was just, it was a lot of different twists in this one, more so than it was in the first one. And I love the twist. I love the direction of it. Matter of fact, by the end of it, they actually could do more. So I like the build up of this one. What did y'all think of the story, without giving too much away?
I really enjoy the story because of the unpredictable aspect, and the setting played a big part. It being a city, because everything was up in the air. Everything was up in the air. Like every turn, every alley, there was probably someone down there, so the whole concept of it was just like, wow, it's just wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I have to say about the story is, I mean, I thought the story was awesome. Pretty much, if you want to know in real life right now, if the Purge was to happen tomorrow, look at that movie, and it'll give you a pretty good idea of what would happen in the Purge.
That's real talk.
So yeah, the story was great.
Yeah. I love the story too. I loved it a lot better than the first one. It had a good taste in my mouth versus like the first one. I was like, really? Like it had a good start off with the first one, and then it flopped out. This one had such a build up that I was like, I went into it thinking, wow, this is just completely different. And so I just really love the story for this one. And I mean, if I had to give it a rating for the story, I actually give the story like an 8.5. I enjoyed the story. What about y'all as far as the rating all around?
I give it a 9.5. I thought the story was freaking awesome from the beginning to the end.
So a 9.5 for you too, Joe?
I give it a 9.
9.
I give it a 9.
Okay. Alright. But that concludes our non-spoiler portion of this review. So any of y'all out there, if y'all do not want to get spoiled, turn it off now. like take it and put it into your watch later, and then maybe y'all can go. If y'all like this portion, at least leave a like at the bottom, leave a comment if you have any kind of thoughts or processes of what y'all anticipating it's gonna be. But please, at this point, don't look at it anymore.
Shut down your computer.
Shut it down. Don't look at it anymore, because we're about to go into spoilers. Alright, I'm gonna give 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Purge Anarchy, spoiler time. Woo! So the main characters all die. I'm just playing. No. It was awesome, y'all. I mean, what was y'all's favorite parts of, I guess, the movie? We'll just talk about the different sections that we liked, and then we'll go into spoilers for it.
Let me think for a second, because it's
hard. It was a lot.
It's hard to pick just one favorite part of the movie, so I need to think about that one.
It really was a lot. What about you, Joe?
My favorite part was when the scene when they went to the subway. For one, it was dark. You couldn't see anything, and the reason why out of all the scenes this really scene stuck out to me was, all right, so you had this gang of just I don't know, this gang of just guys up to no good.
Yeah.
Like up here just killing people for fun. You know what I'm saying?
With the blowtorch.
They had a blowtorch and a
ATV.
machine gun strapped and mounted on like a ATV.
Yeah.
It was probably something like a rhino or something like that. And they were going through the subway, y'all. Like, that just goes to show you just how crazy the city is at the moment. You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, you had said there was nothing gonna be down there. You were like, that's the safest place. I was like, no, that's where the crazy crap would go down. And it was funny because the build up for that, even what you're seeing, is that they were walking down, they were like, leave these people alone. It was homeless people, there was people trying to survive. They were in there covered up, shriveling and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, all heck breaks loose.
Yeah, I mean, what set that scene off was it takes like thought and effort to put that together, then drive those down a subway. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to literally sit down and think about that, and it just shows you like the level of insanity that they're dealing with in the people in the city. So
yeah, that was crazy. Like, let's go kill the bums.
Yeah. And I mean, there was this one part where somebody got ran over. I swear their torso ripped from their body. And then some dude just got blowtorched. And I mean, this is the other thing about the movie. When we were talking about earlier in the non-spoiler section that the characters have development, the first two characters is a girl and a guy. And they're chilling. They're about to get divorced or whatever, or break up or whatever. And some random person bumps into them. And this is a dude on a skateboard. But it made all of us jump because we looked at his face and he had full body paint in his face. And the Purge hadn't even started yet. So I was like, this fool is crazy enough to have this on now and look at him like that. I was like, dude, something's about to go down. And then sure enough, you find out that this same guy, he sets them up. And he's rolling with the whole entire faction of people that are on motorcycles, that are on all these different trucks. And they also have all machetes or machine guns. And before all this takes place, the guy and the girl, they're just riding down the street, and then all of a sudden the car breaks down. And you're like, they're downtown, and you're worried that what's going to happen to them. But by the end of, when you get to this point with this scene, and they've been running for their lives, they've met up with Frank at this point, they've met up with other characters, and they're faced with the opposition of they have to defend themselves. And the guy's like, yo, we got to try to defend it. And I was thinking, I was like, there's no way they're going to survive this. I just knew they were going to both die. And for whatever reason, they decided to fight back. And I felt like that was part of the mode of this whole entire movie, that instead of them having to survive the Purge, this is the first time they're actually fighting back. Because in the first one, they were just trying to survive the whole entire time. These people, they literally went and tried to fight back. And I think a lot of it was because of like the sergeant and his placement there and him saving them and showing them like, look, you're not by yourself. So I think that by adding the element of hope into it, that somebody can like help or will help, it's like encouraging them to try to fight back, I guess. And to me, I felt like most of that through that whole entire movie was just amazing. But did you have another scene that you could think of that's probably your favorite?
Yes. Towards the end, the scene where the five main characters?
Yeah, it was only 5.
Where the part where they get captured and then they're pretty much auctioned out to the highest bidder of all the wealthy people, and they throw them all into this room, and they're being hunted down by the wealthy people, and the wealthy people have like the high-end weapons with night vision goggles, and then they're hunting their prey who have no weapons. They're thrown into this area with no lights, and they have no idea who's hunting them and how many people are out there.
They have nothing.
So I would say that's my favorite scene, because that's like saying like fuck you to the wealthy people, and then they get their ass kicked. And I mean, I don't want to spoil you too much, but yeah, I really like the part where I guess the low class people are killing the high class people, and that was probably my favorite scene right there.
Yeah, and I mean, if y'all have seen the first one, this is gonna be kind of a spoiler for you, Joe, but this one character is an African American guy. He shows up last minute during the scene that Melvin's talking about, and y'all will know that, oh wow, this is just awesome. And so because of his presence there, he's got his own faction as well. And it's like these guys. There was one scene that happened where, who was it? It was a guy in a truck, and he had like machine gun. He was one of the main bad guys, but there was 3 different other trucks. His faction, this black guy's faction, they took down a whole legion of these guys and the truck. There was nobody left alive at all. So you knew later on that like these guys were serious. Yeah. And like just the build up for that to me makes it more anticipation for them to make a 3rd one and it to be actually successful. Just because of this one, this changed the rules completely. Because of the way they did this one, it was like, okay, nah, these people are gonna fight back. And the system might shut down because the government is involved. The government this time around is actually playing a role into the whole grand scheme of it. We had made a conversation about it where it's like, because the purge is taking place, yes, crime is down. Yes, unemployment is down. And then everybody seems like they're doing a lot better. But what they're doing is they're taking and sectioning off all of the people that are the lower class. They don't have any money, they have no means of being able to protect themselves, and at the same time, they are the growth in the unemployment level. They are the people that are in the projects. They are the people that are part of the higher crimes because they have no means of being able to take care of themselves. And so the government is like, they're benefiting from it because they're killing each other. And they're the ones that are getting killed. And one of the main things, the grandfather of one of the 2 characters that Joe had talked about before, in the beginning of the movie, you're thinking, okay, he just doesn't want to see the purge. He's like, I'm going upstairs. He goes and walks out. These are note for them, like, look, I am going to be a martyr for y'all because we have no means of taking care of ourselves. And I know that I'm dying, but that's going to leave y'all $200,000. I was like, that's so deep, man. I couldn't believe that was going on, especially that early in the movie. I was thinking, like, he might sacrifice himself, like, to be able to protect them with a gun, not for him to literally go out and just get killed by a family that just wanted to purge off of him. Like, it was just so many different crazy concepts. And Joe was right that there's a lot of heavy things that go on in this movie. Yeah. And not just physically or gore-wise, but politically, psychologically. Like, things are just seriously messed up. And I just look forward to seeing what's going to happen with it next. Like, there's so many different things we could talk about, but we don't want to be talking all night. And I'm tired. And I'm kind of hungry, too. These 2 ate Taco Bell. Good. I didn't eat a gosh darn thing. Yeah, forget you too. But yeah, y'all enjoyed the movie, so I guess we'll give it a thumbs up. Definitely go check out the Purge 2 Anarchy. This concludes our non-spoiler and
before you wrap it up, I just wanted to say the first Purge is basically, the movie is a rich person, a person who builds defenses to protect against the purge. So the first movie is about a wealthy family protecting themselves. The second one is more about the second one is the story basically. The second one is the reason why there is a purge and how it affects society basically, how it affects the low class and the high class, and the reason for there to be a purge basically. So that's the difference between both movies. I recommend you watch the first one because it will help you. Well, it doesn't really help you understand the second one, but I think they go well together.
Yeah, and I think even the way this one's designed, you can watch this one too, and then make sure you go back and see the first one, so you can see the evolution of what is taking place. Like, I think it can go either way, back and forth. But being this is your first time looking at it, Joe, as a franchise, what do you think about the franchise, I guess, before we close out?
Well, I mean, it was easy to understand because they explained everything, like why the purge is taking place and who's benefiting from it, and you get to see different factions, like, and how people are responding to the purge. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, you know, because you have some people that's not even, like, some gangs are out and they're not even trying to per se just be out there killing people. They're actually literally strategically rounding people up for buyers
to make that money.
To make money.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So with that, you see people's different agendas and how they respond and interact with this purge. You know what I'm saying? It's good. It's good how they, you know, close all the loops and make nothing up for interpretation as far as why or how. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can really understand the logic behind it based off simple. Pretty much. Long story short.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, for them to stick a character such as the sergeant in the mix of it, and to him not to run but go into the storm, it just changes the whole scope of everything because this dude is on his game. I don't even know how many people he killed, y'all. I really don't. I can't count how many people he killed. But he strategically not only saved them, but he took down many people just himself. But yeah, it was just an awesome movie. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. It was better than my expectation levels that left for it.
I had no expectations, so it was awesome for me.
Joe had no expectation either. Even the trailers were better.
Expectations.
Even the movie trailers were better in this one. So definitely go and check out The Purge 2 Anarchy. This concludes our full review, spoiler and non-spoiler. Hopefully you liked it. Please leave your comments if you liked the movie yourself. If you didn't, please leave your comments as well. If you liked the video, please like it. Definitely go check out Mojo Jojo's Joe Johnson 030. Go definitely check out Melvin Canella and his YouTube. And what, you're still doing the repairs?
Yeah, I haven't done anything in a while, so
don't tell him that, man. Go check out his thing. I'm gonna leave a link to both of these guys' channels right here. And yeah, this concludes our review. Y'all take it easy. Have a good night. Have a good evening. Deuces. Oh, shiggity. Y'all still standing?